The morning sun streamed through the windows of a modest suburban home, casting a warm glow over a breakfast table filled with laughter. 8-year-old Ethan, a spirited boy with cerebral palsy, sat in his custom wheelchair, sharing his dreams of becoming a pilot with his mother, Lisa. Her smile masked the daily struggles they faced, but her unwavering support for her son shone brighter than any challenge. Lisa had recently hired a caretaker, Rachel, to assist with Ethan's daily routines while she worked long shifts as a nurse. Rachel had come highly recommended, with a polished resume and glowing references. However, Lisa couldn't shake an uneasiness that lingered whenever she left for work, though Ethan had yet to express any complaints. What happens when you leave your challenged child or child with special needs with a stranger who comes highly recommended? Do you go about your normal duty believing that your child is in safe hands? Or do you take extra caution to monitor what is going on in your child's life? We'll find out in this emotional story of Lisa and her son, Ethan. Before we continue with this story, please support this channel by hitting the subscribe button. You should also turn on the notification bell for more inspiring stories from this channel. Thank you. Ethan's journey began like many others. He was born a healthy, vibrant baby, full of life and curiosity. Lisa and her husband, Adam, were overjoyed with his arrival, embracing their roles as first-time parents with excitement. Ethan's early years were filled with milestones, laughter, and an abundance of love. However, tragedy struck when Ethan was 3 years old. A severe car accident left him with permanent physical disabilities and mobility challenges. Lisa and Adam were devastated, but they rallied together, determined to give Ethan a life filled with opportunities and happiness. The accident brought with it a host of challenges, numerous surgeries, physical therapy, and a significant adjustment to their daily lives. Over time, the strain began to take a toll on Adam. While he loved Ethan deeply, he struggled to cope with the enormity of their new reality. As the years went by, his frustration and feelings of inadequacy grew. Eventually, Adam made the painful decision to leave the family when Ethan was 6, unable to bear the emotional weight. It was a decision that left Lisa heartbroken but resolute. She knew Ethan needed her more than ever. Adam's departure created a void, but Lisa refused to let it define their lives. She poured herself into caring for Ethan, balancing multiple jobs to support their household and advocating fiercely for his needs. While Ethan occasionally asked about his father, Lisa never spoke ill of Adam, choosing instead to focus on the love and stability she could provide. Despite the absence of his father, Ethan grew up with a strong sense of resilience, largely due to Lisa's unwavering support and encouragement. She ensured that he had access to the best possible education and therapy, while also nurturing his emotional well-being. Over time, the bond between mother and son became unshakable, built on trust, mutual respect, and an unyielding determination to overcome life's challenges. Adam's role in their lives diminished over the years. He occasionally sent birthday cards or small gifts, but his physical absence was deeply felt. Lisa struggled with feelings of anger and disappointment, but she channeled those emotions into becoming an even stronger advocate for Ethan. Her love for her son became her guiding force, propelling her through the darkest moments. One afternoon, Lisa returned home early and overheard Rachel's sharp tone as she spoke to Ethan. Through the window, she saw Rachel snatch a toy from Ethan's hands, her expression cold and impatient. Lisa froze, her instincts screaming that something was wrong. When Rachel noticed Lisa at the window, her demeanor shifted instantly to one of cheerfulness, apologizing profusely for being stern. Rachel's primary duty as Ethan's caretaker was to ensure his safety, comfort, and well-being while Lisa worked long hours to support the family. Her responsibilities extended beyond basic caregiving, as she played an integral role in Ethan's daily life. At home, Rachel helped Ethan with mobility, assisted with his meals, and facilitated therapeutic exercises prescribed by his physical therapist. She also encouraged his independence by involving him in small tasks he could handle on his own, like choosing his clothes or organizing his toys. Rachel's role also included taking Ethan to and from school, ensuring he was safely transported and settled in his classroom. She liaised with teachers and staff to stay informed about Ethan's academic progress and any challenges he faced. After school, she supervised his homework, engaged him in creative play, and occasionally accompanied him to therapy sessions or medical appointments. Her role required not only attentiveness but also empathy and patience. However, the incident revealed her misuse of this trust, highlighting how crucial it is for caregivers to possess genuine compassion and integrity in their roles. Rachel's betrayal of these responsibilities underscored the need for vigilant oversight in caregiving relationships. Later that evening, unknowingly to Rachel, Lisa installed a discreet nanny cam in the living room, where Ethan spent most of his time. The next day, as she reviewed the footage during her lunch break, her heart sank, her emotions ranged from heartbreak to fury. She watched as Rachel, the caretaker she had trusted, mocked Ethan's difficulty with speech and mobility, ignored his needs, and even intentionally made him feel small by taunting him, and also denying him water when he asked. The moment that truly shattered Lisa was when Rachel withheld Ethan's favorite toy, which he used to self-soothe, using it as leverage to control his behavior. Seeing Ethan's distress and frustration was devastating for Lisa. Lisa's hands trembled as anger and heartbreak washed over her. Lisa decided to confront Rachel but wanted to ensure Ethan's safety first. She enlisted the help of her brother, Michael, a tech-savvy lawyer, to gather the evidence properly and accompany her when she addressed Rachel. Michael advised her to remain calm and let the facts speak for themselves. That Friday evening, Lisa invited Rachel to sit down for a chat. With Michael quietly recording the conversation from the next room, Lisa played the footage. Rachel's face paled, her calm facade crumbling. She stammered, offering excuses about being stressed and claiming Ethan had been difficult. Lisa's voice was steady but firm as she asked Rachel to leave immediately, warning her that legal action would follow. Ethan, overhearing the confrontation, wheeled himself into the room. Despite his young age, he looked Rachel in the eyes and said, "I hope you learn to be kind." The innocence in his words struck Rachel harder than any reprimand. She left in silence, her guilt visible in her hunched posture. The chat with Rachel didn't just end there. Lisa took the evidence to the authorities and filed a report against Rachel. News of the incident spread, and the community rallied behind Ethan and Lisa, offering support and resources. The local news station picked up the story, turning Ethan into an unlikely advocate for children with disabilities. Rachel faced charges for her mistreatment, but during the trial, it was revealed that she had been dealing with unaddressed mental health struggles. Lisa, despite her anger, chose to advocate for Rachel to receive therapy rather than a harsh sentence. This decision, though controversial, stemmed from her belief in the power of redemption. We could see that Lisa's priceless reaction come from her deep love for Ethan and her resilience in the face of betrayal. Instead of being consumed by anger or seeking revenge, she channeled her pain into action. Of course, she immediately fired Rachel and reported her to the authorities. However, what made Lisa's reaction truly remarkable was her determination to turn this tragedy into a force for good. Lisa launched a public awareness campaign about the importance of monitoring caregivers, sharing her story in hopes of sparing other families from similar experiences. She used the momentum to establish Ethan's Voice, a foundation dedicated to advocating for children with disabilities and providing resources for parents, including affordable access to nanny cameras and caregiver background checks. The funds to start the foundation came from a combination of community support and a local fundraiser. After Lisa shared her story on social media and with local news outlets, donations began pouring in from strangers who were moved by her strength. A local philanthropist, inspired by Lisa's resolve and Ethan's courage, offered a significant grant to help establish the foundation. Lisa started this foundation primarily to support families of children with disabilities, as she understands fully what it means to have one, ensuring they had access to trustworthy caregivers and resources. As weeks turned into months, Ethan's resilience became a beacon of hope. His story inspired others to stand up against bullying. In an event organized by the foundation that saw a large number of people in attendance, including families who brought special need children to the event, community leaders, representatives from the city council, leaders of care agencies, advocates for children with disabilities, and local news media. Lisa was overwhelmed as she fights back tears from her eyes. She wheeled her son to the stage and handed the microphone to Ethan. Ethan took the microphone with his small, steady hands and began to speak, his voice carrying a mixture of determination and warmth. "Hi, everyone," he started, his smile lighting up the room. "I want to thank you for being here today. My mom always tells me that challenges don't make us weak, they make us stronger. And I believe her because, even when it was hard, we never gave up. You shouldn't either." Applause echoed through the hall. The crowd, filled with families, community leaders, and advocates for children with disabilities, hung on his every word. Lisa felt tears brimming in her eyes as she stood beside her son. She thought back to the difficult days after Ethan's diagnosis, to the sleepless nights of worry about his future. Yet here he was, thriving and using his voice to make a difference. As the lights dimmed and the event came to an end, Lisa whispered to Ethan, "You're my hero, kiddo." He grinned up at her and replied, "And you're mine, Mom." The journey wasn't just about overcoming one act of cruelty, it was about building a world where kindness and courage could flourish, no matter the obstacles. And together, they were doing just that. Ethan's story was no longer just about one incident with a cruel caretaker, it had become a movement for empathy and inclusion. Meanwhile, the impact of Ethan's story continued to ripple outward. Michael, Lisa's brother, helped establish a legal fund under Lisa's foundation to support families facing similar issues. The fund aimed to ensure that justice was accessible for everyone, regardless of their means. The community also saw a shift. Inspired by Ethan and Lisa, local schools began implementing anti-bullying workshops and inclusivity training for students and staff. Caregiver agencies in the area adopted stricter screening processes, prioritizing not just qualifications but also empathy and character. Rachel's story took a different but equally transformative turn. As part of her therapy and community service, she began volunteering at a center for children with disabilities. There, she confronted her own prejudices and grew to understand the resilience and beauty in the children she worked with. Though she couldn't undo her past actions, she channeled her guilt into becoming an advocate for better caregiver training and mental health awareness. One day, Lisa received a handwritten letter from Rachel, who had completed her therapy program. She expressed deep remorse and thanked Lisa for giving her a chance to rebuild her life. Though Lisa couldn't forget the pain Rachel had caused, she found it in her heart to forgive, focusing instead on the future she was building for Ethan. The impact of Ethan and Lisa's journey extended far beyond their local community. Their story gained traction online as videos of Ethan's speeches went viral. Major media outlets picked up on the narrative, celebrating Ethan's resilience and Lisa's unyielding advocacy. They were invited to participate in national discussions on caregiver standards and disability rights. One particularly emotional moment came when Lisa and Ethan were featured on a morning talk show. Sitting side by side on the couch, Ethan confidently answered questions while Lisa shared her perspective as a mother. Toward the end of the segment, the host surprised them by announcing that a major nonprofit organization had pledged significant funding to expand Lisa's foundation, ensuring that it could provide resources and legal aid to families across the country. Ethan's eyes widened in awe, and Lisa had to fight back tears. She squeezed her son's hand, knowing this was a turning point not just for their family but for countless others who had faced similar struggles. Meanwhile, Rachel continued her journey of self-reflection and growth. She became a certified counselor, specializing in working with families of children with disabilities. Her experience as both a former caregiver and someone who had made grave mistakes gave her a unique perspective, allowing her to connect with families on a deep level. She also spoke at conferences, openly sharing her story and advocating for comprehensive training programs for caregivers. In a twist no one had anticipated, Rachel and Lisa eventually crossed paths again at a national caregiver advocacy summit. Both women were invited as speakers, Lisa to share her story as a mother and advocate, and Rachel to discuss the importance of education and empathy in caregiving. There was an initial tension when their eyes met backstage, but Lisa extended her hand, breaking the ice. I'm glad you're here, Lisa said, her voice steady but kind. It means you've taken responsibility for your actions. That's not easy. Rachel nodded, her voice catching as she replied, I'll never be able to undo the hurt I caused. But I want to make sure no one else goes through what Ethan did. Their interaction was brief but meaningful. For both women, it symbolized the possibility of healing, even in the wake of deep pain. As for Adam, Ethan's father, he did not initially return to their lives. However, after the story of Ethan's resilience and Lisa's advocacy went viral, Adam reached out. He admitted that he had left because he felt overwhelmed and unprepared to raise a child with special needs. Seeing Lisa's strength and Ethan's growth sparked regret and a desire to reconnect. Lisa, cautious but compassionate, allowed Adam to re-enter their lives on the condition that he commit to being a consistent and positive presence for Ethan. Over time, Adam worked to rebuild trust, becoming an active co-parent and an ally in Lisa's advocacy efforts. Some may wonder why Lisa would accept Adam back into their lives just like that. Remember, when Ethan's bullying incident with Rachel unfolded, the absence of his father was felt anew. But instead of dwelling on what was missing, Lisa focused on what they had built together, a life of strength, love, and hope. The background of Ethan's disability and Adam's departure added depth to their story, showcasing the profound sacrifices and resilience that defined their journey. Ultimately, the challenges Lisa and Ethan faced together became the foundation of their triumphs. Their story wasn't just about overcoming adversity, it was about creating a life filled with purpose, love, and the unwavering belief that they could rise above any obstacle, together. Lisa's reaction was priceless because it turned personal pain, betrayal from her husband and broken trust by a caregiver, into a community-driven movement, inspiring countless others while giving Ethan a future filled with love, support, and empowerment. As the years passed, Ethan grew into a young man with a remarkable sense of purpose. He excelled academically, using his experiences to fuel his passion for social justice and advocacy. By the time he entered college, he was already a recognized leader in the disability rights movement, inspiring others to stand up for what they believed in. Lisa, meanwhile, continued to lead her foundation, working tirelessly to improve conditions for caregivers and families. She often reflected on how one painful incident had sparked a wave of positive change, proving that even the darkest moments could lead to light. The story of Lisa, Ethan, and Rachel became a testament to the power of resilience, forgiveness, and the human capacity for growth. It showed that while injustice could cause deep wounds, it could also ignite a collective drive for change, healing, and a better future. Do you think Lisa did the right thing by letting Adam into their lives again? Is Adam a gold digger? Drop your comments below, let us know your thoughts. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to this channel.